Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the 2016 film, Oscar-nominated film, Jackie, starring Natalie Portman. Of course, this movie is, it is a quite simple movie. When I mean simple, it says this movie is not that very complicated to follow. It doesn't have a really intricate or complicated storyline. It's just basically the story, there's a point of view that's really haven't been told, and that's the story from the Jackie Kennedy's point of view on the around just before, during, and after the Kennedy assassination. Because this movie is, the majority of this film is in flashbacks. The movie actually starts off from Kennedy's home about a week after the JFK's funeral, and she's being interviewed by a reporter, and pretty much the rest of the movie is pretty much in flashbacks. And from time to time, they go back to the interview, but then the rest is when Jackie's being interviewed by this reporter. I don't know if this actually happened or not, because I wasn't born then. If she was actually interviewed by this reporter, or a reporter, a week after the JFK's funeral. But anyway, it shows you right after when he died, how she was in the car holding John Kennedy's head. How what happened in the hospital? That she talked to a priest. She talked to a priest in the days before, that weekend before the funeral, because he was killed on a Friday, and that Monday they had the funeral for him. So it was really hectic, really crazy time for her, for the White House, for the country. Really, that's really a crazy hectic time, and they never told Jackie that Oswald, who was the one who was suspected to kill Kennedy, that he was killed himself at the time that John Kennedy's body was lying in the State House, and there's the famous photograph of Jackie and the two kids, or at least Calvin Kennedy, at the kneeling in front of the casket. That's when Oswald was killed. So he said, "Oh, how come you never told me that the guy was killed, or who he was, and this little nobody killed my husband, killed the president of the United States, this little nobody." And then of course came all those. They didn't really focus on the conspiracy theories, because I think the conspiracy theories on Kennedy's death been done to death. So they didn't really go into that much. They did show the footage of him getting killed on live TV. They did do that. With Bobby Kennedy and some of the White House staff watching on television, and of course Jackie with Bobby and Lyndon Johnson knew us. How come now you told me that the guy who was suspected of killing Jack was killed? But then they go back a little bit when Kennedy took over as president. Some of the dances, some of the state balls and all that type of thing, dances and stuff, and all this, and of course, a good chunk of this, a pretty good segment on it is the famous television segment with Jackie Kennedy giving the tour of the White House, which was on television. I think it was on CBS, I believe. If I'm not, if I'm not right on that, I believe it was on CBS when she did a tour of the White House. When Jackie Kennedy did a tour of the White House, they did do that. They went into that. They showed the Lincoln bedroom. Now I don't know if any of this stuff was filmed in the actual White House, because usually when movies are about a president, no matter which one it is, they usually make up a fake White House set. Like the Oval Office or some of the rooms in the White House, and that type of thing is usually done on a movie soundstage. So you don't know if this was the actual Lincoln bedroom or not, which the Clintons, when they were in the White House, was selling to the highest bidder for somebody to sleep there at night. But Anyway, getting back to the movie, um, and also talking about how they went into details about the funeral, the percent, and at first they didn't want Jackie and the kids to march from the Capitol building, the White House, all the way to the cathedral when they had the funeral, and of course from the cathedral to Arlington National Cemetery, which Kennedy was originally eventually buried in, along with Bobby and of course eventually Jackie, and that's when Jackie died back in 1994. But when you bury, or where they should bury him in Massachusetts at first, was originally the idea. They said, I don't want to be there. And they went to Arlington Cemetery to pick the spot, and Jackie was the one who actually picked the spot, and they had the eternal flame there, which marks Kennedy's grave. If you ever go to Arlington Cemetery, my father actually went there. My parents did, and they have a picture of Kennedy's grave. I think it was also after when Bobby Kennedy was killed too. They went down there, but they have the eternal life fiction there for the marking the grave, and it's really it really is a sad, depressing movie because of all that's pretty much basically what the movie was. And I thought that Natalie Portman gave an outstanding performance. I mean, you can get a better performance than this. Even though she won her Oscar a few years ago for the Black Swan, for the movie Black Swan, she gave a better performance in this. She did an almost uncanny impression, and she gave an uncanny performance as Jackie Kennedy. I mean, she looked like her, she dressed like her, even though she had a little more of a cheek, so you could tell that was her, and that was Natalie Portman. But she gave a terrific performance. And she should have won the Oscar for playing Jackie. But I think the reason why she didn't win was for a real stupid, idiotic reason. Was because of the fact that she didn't go to the Oscars because she was a little bit pregnant. Okay, and I think she gave birth a couple of weeks before the Oscar ceremony, so she was like on bed rest. I think she gave birth either that week or that weekend before the Oscar ceremony. So she was recovering from childbirth, or about to give birth, when they had the Oscars. So she couldn't even travel to LA. I know where she lives all the time when she's not making a movie, but she was told not to travel, and her doctors put her on bed rest, because the last time she was pregnant was for when she won the Academy Award for Black Swan, and she was physically able to go. I think she was about 6 or 7 months pregnant at that time. Now she was a little bit closer to giving birth, and there was a concern that she would give birth on live television and in front of 1 billion people, and then went that. So she didn't win. Well, the only other times that people won Oscars for not being there was because 2 of them died. It was Heath Ledger and Peter Finch for Network. Of course, Heath Ledger for the Dark Knight film, and of course George C. Scott didn't bother because he thinks the Oscars was silly. So he didn't show up, and they all won Oscars. And so I don't know why they couldn't give Natalie Portman a second Oscar, because I guess maybe because she was like too young, because she is in her 30s now. She's almost I think she's about like 36 years old now. So they have 2 Oscars before she hit the age of 40. They probably think they don't want. They probably, the stupid liberal Oscar voters didn't want to do that. So, but I know I went on a tangent there. But I felt that Natalie Portman did a great performance as Jackie Kennedy. She was great. She was unbelievable in this movie. I mean, this whole movie was just her. Really, she was. I mean, I can't praise her enough for her performance in Jackie. That's how good she was. But naturally, of course, there's not going to be a sequel to this thing. I'm surprised that at the end of the film, they didn't say that Jackie Kennedy died in 1994 from cancer. I'm surprised they didn't put that when the movie faded to black and just before the closing credits ran, I'm surprised it didn't mention that she had passed away. And she married Aristotle Onassis, and she died of cancer in 1994. I'm surprised it didn't mention that. But they did what they did, and it's a pretty short movie. It's probably maybe an hour 40 minutes. So it's like it didn't feel it felt a lot faster. To me, it felt a lot faster. But the one thing that it didn't do was it didn't reenact the famous scene with Jackie whispered in John's ear to salute his father. She did goat John to salute his father when the casket passed him during the funeral procession. Even though everybody was showing on television at the time, so, oh wow, there was something moving with John saluting his father. But just before John did that, Jackie whispered in his ear to salute his father. I guess maybe because they thought that it was leaving as a cute scene. Because it was an iconic moment when John Jr. saluted his father as the casket passed. They didn't want to say the real story. This was that Jackie actually told John to do that. But in terms of the film, I think anybody who is interested in that moment in history and the moment when Kennedy was killed, at least this movie provided a different perspective, or a point of view that was never really entered in any of the other movies, documentaries based on the Kennedy assassination. This is from Jackie's point of view, which is really, to me, made it different compared to the conspiracy theory from the Oliver Stone film, which was horrible. So that's my review on the movie Jackie. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos not only on my YouTube channel, at rowdyc.com, there's OWDY, and c.com, there's a homepage of the Rowdy Viewer, Christy Moore, and please check out his videos on his website as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.